So, Coach, a little bit of a nail biter there Saturday against BYU,
Yeah.
but you get the win, and there's so many guys that stepped up. Really, it's tough
Yeah.
to single out a few. But who stood out to you?
Well, Alex Slott did for the obvious reasons of having the big fifth set, but I think the hidden story there was, Alex. I think going into the fourth set and probably after the fourth set, I bet the people in the stands might not have thought he was having the match he was having. Now, attacking, and he didn't have big numbers for us, but he was in a situation where he had 2 and 3 blockers in front of him all night, and he was really intelligent about how he hit into the block. And if you saw a lot of the times he was hitting into the block and it was coming back in our, we were able to cover it and take another swing. So, in essence, he was giving us another free shot. But Alex passed unbelievably well all night. He passed at a really high clip, and he was getting hit in some spots that were really tough. And so he was doing that really well. His defense was phenomenal. He dug a bunch of balls that were key. And his blocking, that's probably been maybe his weakest skill throughout the year. And the other night, he was great. He was getting in front of his guy real well. He was sealing the net. He got some stuffs, and he really altered some shots. So for him, he was having a great match as far as we were concerned, even though the hitting numbers weren't maybe where they wanted to be. And then the end of the fourth set, it was a little bit ironic. He got stopped a few times, but Alex's hitting percentage this year in the fifth set somewhere in the low 500s. Maybe it dipped a little bit, but it's funny. I think most teams would have probably folded their tent after how we dropped the fourth set. But for us, it was really easy for me to go to the bench, and the first thing out of my mouth was, guys, nobody has been in more 5-set matches this year in the country than you have. No team in the country has won as many 5-set matches as you have. And I was able to look at Alex and go, dude, you hit over 500 in the fifth set, as an average. So we're good. And the guys knew that. I don't think they needed me to tell them that, but I wanted to make sure they remembered that and knew that. And that was a really important part of going into that fifth set and maintaining. And then Alex was just teed off and was hitting over 400. And Robert and Andy had a kill at 7-8 in the what we call the 2-3 seam. That I think kept our team really in it and believing. If we ever started to maybe doubt, I think when he tied it at 8 with that kill, and then Robert had one around 11-10. Again, both kills with authority, up early, and maybe those guys they weren't maybe hitting great, but they were doing some great things serving, they were doing some great things blocking, they're doing some great things defense, and that was what was really the great part about our team win is that, first of all, everybody did something. But lots of guys were challenged in subsets of their game, and they were able to not let that affect the other parts of their game. And so, to us, that's real good mental toughness. So really proud of the effort and the way we finished.
The other key,
Yeah.
at least in my mind, all season we talked about slow starts. Really, the second half of the season, you get out in that first set and you dominate them. That had to feel pretty good and be a big confidence boost for the guys.
Yeah, it was. We've been working really hard on that. We've altered our entire practice scheme to try to get going early, and they've been doing great. When we looked at it in video with the team today, it was 5-2 in the first, and it was that ball that got passed a little bit to the left, and Micah ran and set a back one to Andy that he bounced, and no one was there, and it was with authority, and that was really, we were already rolling at about 5-2 and feeling good, and that kind of really just set the tone that, hey, we got our act together tonight, and we're going to do well, and we're going to get the win.
Now you move on to the MPSF semifinals at UCI, a very tough team, a team you're very familiar with. What do you guys have to do going into this one to get the W? I'm
going to check the cliche box and serve and pass. They're a great serving team. They're a great blocking team. What they do, they can get you in trouble, from their service line. They get you to pass the ball off the net, and they make your offense a little more simple. And then they pounce. They got real big physical guys and can do a great job blocking. And the other thing they do is they attack the ball well. So for us, we've got to pass. They're serving well. So that we can run our entire offense and hopefully keep them a step behind and create some seams in the block for our attackers to hit into. And then conversely, we have to serve well. We have to pull their passing off the net. So we have to serve them tough so that they pass the ball 10, 11 feet off the net and really only have two options in their offense. And even though they're physical and, Zach Lacavera, their opposites, he's a conference player of the year, deservingly so. Tamir Hershko is one of their outside hitters, and he's a load physically. Those guys will beat on the ball, but if we're there in front of them, that slows them down a little bit. And so, that's where the serve and pass game is going to really be important. And I think for us in hopefully creating that passing trouble for them, our block will continue to get better. That's the one part of our game that's getting great, or getting better at a great rate. And so we need to continue that upward tick with our blocking and be able to do that. And the other thing that's happening, too, with our block being better is our defensive numbers are coming up because we're taking away court, we're disciplined, and our defense is playing, getting behind the block and under and around it, so they're digging the balls that aren't going into the block. So that's what we got to do. And, the X factor for them is Michael Brinkley. He's an All-American libero and probably rightfully the best libero in the country. And that kid does some unbelievable stuff, and he's going to make some unbelievable digs on balls that we hit that'll normally go down. And we're just going to have to weather that storm. And that, So I think those are the keys to the game, is for us to weather whatever storm it is, be it their defense from Brinkley or their serve and block. And then we got to continue to be good on our side of the ball.
One last thing, Micah was named the Volleyball Award winner, second straight year co-winner, but either way, that was his last home match Saturday. What did it mean to get the win for him and then to get this award as well? Obviously, this is like a once-in-a-generation talent we're seeing here, I think.
Yeah, no, very deserving for him to win that twice. He's the best setter in college volleyball. According to that award, he and another guy are the co-recipients, and I hear that. Matt West of Pepperdine's the co-winner as well, and he's had a great year. But when you get down to brass tacks, Micah is the best setter in our region of the world. He was voted the top setter at the NORCECA Championships, which is essentially North and South America and the Caribbean. That's our zone in the world. He is. He's quite a talent, and more importantly, he's a huge character guy. Forget about the volleyball stuff. It's what he does off the court is pretty special on a day-to-day, and that's the thing that I don't think people can see. He's a marvelous volleyball athlete. Gosh, he's exciting as heck to watch, and what he does on the court is transcendent. But like I said, I think the thing and what's cool is he's probably most proud of what he does off the court. And super family, so where it comes from. And it's been really cool to work with him, and we're gonna be working towards having a few more matches with him on the court, not just resting on our laurels of a last game at Galen. We got some more work to do. We started his career with him playing for a national championship in his freshman year, and so we've been working back to get to there, and so we got some work to do, and really it's fun to get in the gym with him, get in the film room with him. And he's a good leader. A couple of our guys, one in particular in the locker room, pointed out what a great job Micah did with his teammates on the floor and keeping those guys calm and keeping them focused when stuff got crazy on Saturday night. And those are some other real, nuanced things that I don't think the general public can see on a day-to-day. So, have his teammate, point that out in the locker room with the guys, while we're having a team meeting and kind of getting everything together. I thought that was pretty cool, and that's pretty telling that when your peers understand the cool things that you're doing with them, I think that's the biggest testament to what a volleyball athlete he is.